Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevayam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevayam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevayam. Om Aganda Timarandasya Ganajana Shivakaya Chakshur Umilitam Yena Tajma Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Hare Krishna. The following video series is a summary of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam was translated into English by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Also included are His in-depth commentaries known as purports. These purports unpack the often complex and symbolic language of the text, making it understandable to a wider audience. The Srimad Bhagavatam, also known as the Bhagavata Purana, is considered the most important of sacred scriptures. Composed around 5,000 years ago, it is considered the ripened fruit of the tree of Vedic literature and the original commentary on the Vedanta-sutra. The author of Srimad Bhagavatam is Çréla Vyäsadeva. He is also the compiler of the Vedas, classified as a Purana, a vast genre of ancient stories and knowledge encompassing history, philosophy, and spiritual teachings. Srimad Bhagavatam includes stories of avatars, creation narratives, lives of saints and sages, philosophy discourses, and practical guidance for spiritual life. Divided into 12 cantos with over 18,000 verses covering 10 subject matters. 1. The elemental creation. 2. The secondary creation. 3. The planetary systems. 4. Protection by the Lord. 5. The creative impetus. 6. Manvatars. 7. The science of God. 8. The dissolution. 9. Liberation. And 10. The supreme shelter. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya-lila, chapter 25, text 143 and 144, Lord Chaitanya, speaking to Prakrisananda Saraswati, tells him. Translation. The meaning of the Vedanta-sutra is present in Srimad Bhagavatam. The full purport of the Mahabharata is also there. The commentary of the Bhagavad is also there and fully expanded with all Vedic knowledge. Çrémad-Bhägavatam is the Supreme Purana. It was compiled by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in His incarnation as Vyasadeva. There are 12 cantos, 335 chapters, and 18,000 verses. Canto 9, chapters 17 through 24. Chapter 17. The Dynasties of the sons of Pururava. Ayu, son of Pururava, had 5 sons whose descendants ruled far and wide. From Krsna came a line including Dhanvantari, the divine healer, and many powerful kings like Pratardana and Kula Yaspa. Rava and Anena also continued strong dynasties. The son of Rava was Rabhasa, and his son was Gambhira. Gambhira's son was Akriya, and from Akriya came Brahmavit. The son of Anea was Sudha, and his son was Suchi. The son of Suchi was Kritakrit, whose son was Santaraj. Raji had 500 sons, all of extraordinary strength. Raji was personally very powerful and was given the kingdom of heaven by Lord Indra. Later, after Raji's death, when the sons of Raji refused to return the kingdom to Indra, by Vrihaspati's arrangement, they became unintelligent, and Lord Indra conquered them. A verse from chapter 17 is text 10. Iti me kasyo bhupa krishtra vidana vavyadnidha rahasya rabhasa pluto gambhiras chakriyas tata. Translation. O Maharaj Pariksit, all these kings were descendants of Kasi, and they could also be called descendants of Kashtavidya. The son of Rava was Rabhasa, and from Rabhasa came Gambhira, and from Gambhira came a son named Akriya. Chapter 18. King Yayati regains his youth. This chapter gives the history of King Yayati, the son of Nahusa. Yayati married Devayani, the daughter of Sukracharya, and also Sumarista, the daughter of Vishvaparva. Their rivalry began when Sarmistra mistakenly wore Devayani's clothes during play and, in anger, pushed her into a well. Yayati rescued Devayani, who accepted him as her husband. To settle matters, Vishvaparva gave Samarista as maidservant to Devayani, but she later conceived a son by Yayati. Envious, Devayani complained to her father, who cursed Yayati with premature old age. Moved by Yayati's plea, Sukracharya allowed him to transfer the curse. Yayati gave his old age to his youngest son, Puru. Because of Puru's sacrifice, Yayati later blessed him, and the royal dynasty continued through his line. A verse from chapter 18 is text 2. Rajyam nachat jata prita datam tat parinamavit yata pravista purusa atmanam navabhutyate. Translation. When one enters the post of a king or head of the government, one cannot understand the meaning of self-realization. Knowing this, Yati, the eldest son of Nahusa, did not accept the power to rule, although it was offered by his father. Chapter 19. King Yayati achieves liberation. This 19th chapter describes how Maharaj Yayati achieved liberation after we recounted the figurative story of a he-goat and she-goat. After years of indulgence, King Yayati grew disgusted with material pleasure. To explain his realization, he told Devayani the allegory of a he-goat and she-goat. The he-goat rescued the she-goat from a well and lived with her. But when he strayed with another, the she-goat left in anger. Her Brahmin owner cursed the he-goat with impotence, which was later revoked, allowing him to continue his endless enjoyment. Yet despite years of indulgence, the goat remained unsatisfied. Yayati concluded that lust is like fire. Fuel only makes it burn hotter. The true peace comes not from enjoyment, but renunciation. Accepting this truth, he divided his kingdom among his sons, renounced worldly life, and took sannyas, fully dedicating himself to devotional service, to which he attained perfection. A verse from chapter 19 is text 14. Najatu kama karmanam upabhogena samyati harvista Krishna vartmeva udya evam vivardate. Translation. As supplying butter to a fire does not diminish the fire, but instead increases it more and more. The endeavor to stop lusty desires by continual enjoyment can never be successful. Chapter 20. The Dynasty of Prithu. This chapter describes the history of Prithu and his descendants, Dushmata. From Prithu's dynasty came Janamanjaya, and a line of kings down to Raudrasva, who fathered 10 sons, including Riteyu. Riteyu's descendants, including Rantinava, Apartirantha, Kana, and Medahatihi, produced both royal heirs and Brahmins. In this line appeared King Dushmata. While hunting, he visited the ashram of Kanva Muni and met his foster daughter, Sakutala, born of Vishvamrita and the Apsara Menaka, who had been abandoned in the forest and raised by the sage. Captivated by her beauty, Dushmata married her by Gandharva rite. Later, Sakunata bore him a son, but when she came to the palace, Dushmata denied them. After divine omens, however, he accepted both mother and child. Their son, Bharata, was enthroned, performed great sacrifices, gave abundant charity, and continued the noble line. A verse from chapter 20 is text 33. Sad samradloka palakrayam asvaryam arirat shriyam akram kashkalitam pranam Mishetya Pararamaha. Translation. As the ruler of the entire universe, Emperor Bharata had the offices of a great kingdom and unconquerable soldiers. His sons and family had seemed to him to be his entire life. But finally, he thought all of this as an impediment to spiritual advancement, and therefore he ceased from enjoying it. Chapter 21, the Dynasty of Bharata. The 21st chapter describes the dynasty born from Maharaj Bharata, and it also describes the glories of Rantidev, Ajamiòha, and others. From Bharadvaja's line came Rantidev, a saintly king who saw all beings as connected to the Lord. Even after fasting 48 days, he gave away all his food and water to unexpected guests, a Brahmin, a Sudra, and a thirsty traveler, choosing service over his own survival. The Lord, pleased with his compassion, entrusted him with a confidential service. Another descendant, Vrihat-Satra, founded the city of Hastinapur, giving rise to important dynasties. From his line came Ajamiòha, whose descendants included many kings and Brahmins. Notably, Bharyasva's son, Mudgala, established a dynasty of Brahmins. Mudgala's daughter, Ahalya, and her husband, Gotama, gave birth to Sanandana, from whom came Saradvin. His children were Kripa and Kripi, with Kripa later marrying Dronacharya. A verse from chapter 21 is text 17. Ishvaralambanam chitam kurvato nanya radhasa mayaguna mayi rajam svanapatpatyaliyata. Translation. O Maharaj Pariksit, because King Rantidev was a pure devotee, always Krishna conscious, and free from material desires, the Lord's illusionary energy, Maya, could not exhibit herself before him. On the contrary, for him, Maya entirely vanquished, exactly like a dream. Chapter 22, the Descendants, Ajamiòha. This chapter describes the descendants of Devodas. It also describes Jarasandha, who belonged to the Riksh dynasty, as well as Duryodhana, Arjuna, and others. From the line of Devodas came Somatka, whose descendants included Drupad, father of Draupadi, and Drishtadyumna. Another branch came Samvarna, whose son was Kuru, gave his name to Kurukshetra. From him came many kings, including Chedi and Jarasandha. Later, King Pratina's sons included Devapi, Santanu, and Bahlika. Santanu fathered Bhishma with Ganga, and Satyavati had Tritra-Ganga and Vikti-Travira. By Vasudha's arrangement, Satyavati's line gave rise to Dhritarashtra, Pandu, and Vidura. Dhritarashtra had 100 sons led by Duryodhana, while Pandu fathered the 5 Pandavas, Yudhishthira, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, and Sahadev. They produced many sons, including Abhimanyu, whose son Pariksit became king after the Kurukshetra war. Parikshit's son, Jnanamanjaya, continued the line. Sukadeva Goswami also foretold the future rulers of both the Pandava and Magadha dynasties, ending with King Keshmaka, after whom the lunar line would fade until it was re-established in a future age. A verse from chapter 22 is text 29. Yudhishthira prativindhyaya shrutaseno vikotarat arjunacha truta krishtu santani kuhi. Translation. From Yudhishthira came the son named Prativindya, from Bhima a son named Sutasena, from Arjuna a son named Sutakirti, and from Nakula a son named Satanika. Chapter 23, the Dynasties of the Sons of Yayati. In this 23rd chapter, the dynasties of Anu, Duryu, Dubastu, and Yadu, as well as the story of Jayamagya, are described. Romapad, a descendant of Agnya, was blessed by the sage Rashasringa and had a son, Chaturanga, whose line later included Karna, and his son Virasena. Yayati's eldest son Yadu gave rise to the Yadu dynasty. From his descendants came the powerful Haliya kings, and from Madhu and Vrishni emerged the Yadava, Madhava, and Vrishni clans. These dynasties shaped the course of history and eventually led to the birth of Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Through him, Divine pastimes were enacted, restoring Dharma and protecting the world. Meanwhile, from Yadu's sons, Krsna came Vidarbha, who founded the kingdom of the same name, showing how the divine and royal lineages intertwine to guide humanity across ages. A verse from chapter 23 is text 13. Yosal Ganga Tate Kritan Manju Santargratam Sisum Kuntya Pavididam Kyatam Anapat Yokaratutam. Translation. While playing on the bank of the Ganges, Andirath found a baby wrapped up in a basket. The baby had been left by Kunti because he was born before she was married. Because Andirath had no sons, he raised this baby as his own. Chapter 24. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vidarbha had 3 sons, Kusha, Krata, and Romapad, whose descendants spread far and wide. From Krata came Kunti, and her lineage produced great leaders of the Vrishni and Satvata dynasties, including Akura and other notable kings. The Andaka dynasty, descended from Ugrasena, gave rise to Kamsa and his relatives. Vasudeva, the son of his line, married Devaki and Rohini. From Rohini came Balaram, and from Devaki was born Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who liberated the world from demons. Other branches of these families included Vidura's line, which connected Preethas, later known as Kunti, to the Pandavas. Sura's daughters gave rise to warriors like Dantavarkra, Drishtaketu, and Sistupal. Kamsa's daughters also bore rulers such as Chitraketu, Brihadbala, Survira, and Isuman. A verse from chapter 24 is text 56. Yada yada hi dharmasya grasho vidhischa papmana tatadu bhagavan nisha atmanam srijate hari. Translation. Whenever the principles of religion deteriorate and the principles of irreligion increase, the Supreme Controller, the Personality of Godhead, Sri Hari, appears by his own will. That is the end of the 9th canto. Hare Krishna.